Hey guys, welcome back to the 31 Days of Halloween. It is day 28. It's almost over, man. We're almost there, unfortunately. But, October always flies by, especially when you're enjoying, the Halloween festivities or the holiday festivities. Um, as promised, I watched House of Fears. This came out like 10 years ago. I wasn't aware when I watched it, but kind of looking up info on it for this review, I was like, wow, it actually came out a while ago. And I guess it's a little apparent, and I'll get into that a little bit later. The film was directed by Ryan Little, and it stars Corri English, who did a lot of stuff for Holliston, and she actually does a lot of video game voices, and Sandra McCoy, who was in Cry Wolf and a couple other movies, kind of independent horror movies as well. They play stepsisters, and Sandra McCoy's character is kind of a brat. She doesn't like her stepsister. She doesn't like her stepmom, I believe. And she's going to go to a party, and then her dad stops her and says, hey, you can't go to this party. She puts up a fight, and he goes, okay, but we're driving you there, and you're bringing along your stepsister. So it creates kind of this dynamic between the two during the whole film. And so they show up to the party. They meet. Sandra meets up with her boyfriend, and they kind of get together a group. And one of the guys in the group is kind of a maintenance guy slash just kind of helping out with a kind of haunted house called House of Fears. And he tells them, hey, I had the keys. We can get in a day early and check it out, and you guys can see what it's like. They're like, oh, yeah, okay. So this group of kids go in, and there's been this cursed idol that the owner has bought in Africa, of all places. It's kind of like the Exorcist, idol. And it is inside the house. And it's kind of cursed. And so they go into the haunted house, and the House of Fears is about 9 different fears, and the house will exploit every fear that you have. That's the theme of the house without the idol. And all the fears are kind of weird. There's like a fear of knives, which I've never heard, but there's a couple different ones. The dark, death. There's a couple of them. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. So they go in there, and then the house kind of starts to turn. They start seeing things, and then someone dies, and things get crazy, and they have to figure out a way out because the house won't let them out. So they have to find kind of a weird backwards way out of the house. I guess first I'll say there's actually a cameo by Jared Padalecki from Supernatural, and I think he was in the Friday the 13th remake. It's like blink and you miss it cameo. When they're at the party in the beginning of the movie, there's 2 of the characters standing in the screen, and then Jared Padalecki walks through the door. They say, hey, JP. They hand him a beer, and he walks away. It's literally a blink and you miss it. He's probably on screen for 3 seconds. And that's what I meant by it's obvious that it was made 10 years ago, because that was kind of when Supernatural and all that stuff was kind of popping off. I don't know how they got him to cameo in the movie. Maybe Ryan Little knew him or something. But, man, this movie, it isn't inherently bad. It's just kind of boring in a lot of ways. It just kind of dragged on a little bit, I like, especially towards the end, I found myself on my phone, like looking through Instagram and stuff, because I think they just drag stuff on a little bit, and it's not scary at all. There's really only one scene that's kind of creepy, and the rest of the movie is just kind of little jump scares here and there. And then even the kills aren't that good because they do most of them off screen. I think all of them are off screen. And when they do kill somebody, they do this weird effect where they kind of reverse negative, and then they have like kind of this, weird noise that they play. And so you don't even really see a whole lot the whole movie. The acting is perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's a little, kind of stereotypical stuff. I mean, I guess maybe I'm giving it a pass, because the lines are pretty, generic. I mean, the whole movie has got a lot of cliche moments to it. It starts out fine, and you kind of think it's going to go somewhere, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of like, I know, like a teen Scream type movie, I guess. And then it just, kind of, lingers, I think, for too long. And it's not even that long of a movie. I think it's only an hour and 25 minutes, which, isn't that long. And it still kind of feels like it drags maybe a little too long. Like this could have been a much shorter movie. They probably could have made it an hour long at the way that they made it. I don't think they needed the idol to make the whole movie. Because the idol just kind of makes it, for me, inherently not scary at all. Because it's like, well, this is never going to happen in real life. This kind of thing's never going to happen. But, I mean, that's movie magic, so I shouldn't really complain about that too much. But for me, I like it better kind of with these haunted house movies when it's just a psycho in the house killing people. I mean, the idol does do things that, a normal person wouldn't be able to do. And it explains a lot of things that happen. I just think the payoff of having the idol is not good enough to justify it, because a lot of the things could have easily been done just with a couple crazy guys in the funhouse, realistically speaking, or not realistically speaking, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, House of Fears, for me, it's probably 2.5, because like I said, like, there wasn't anything like atrociously bad about it. It's just kind of dull, just kind of boring, and the way they did the kills wasn't very rewarding. If the kills would have been better and they hadn't have done the special effect with the reverse negative, I could have probably given it a pass, but because there's nothing exciting about them. But if they would have showed something, it would have kept me interested and into the movie. Yeah, so, I have to give it a 2.5, I don't like doing that, but it just didn't give me enough to push it over the edge, So that was, House of Fears. Like I said, I've been kind of going with this theme of, funhouse movies. I probably won't continue that tomorrow because I'm going to run out of them, pretty quickly. Plus, we're getting close to the end where I know what movies I'm going to watch probably. At least on Halloween, I know what movie I'm going to watch, and I'll tell you about that on the 30th so that maybe you can catch up with it before I actually watch the movie. So, House of Fears, if you've seen a lot of movies and you just kind of need something to watch, kind of on a rainy day, you might want to pop this in, maybe this could get you through the rainy day. So that's for that one. That's the wrap up of day 28. So I hope you guys liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as I always say, I'll see you guys tomorrow.